You walked into this room for a reason, and right now, you have absolutely no idea what it was. It happens to everyone. You stand up with a clear purpose, you walk through the door, and the moment you arrive, the thought is just gone. So you stand there, maybe you retrace your steps, maybe you wait for it to come back, and quietly a small thought creeps in. Is something wrong with my memory? Here's what almost nobody tells you. This exact moment isn't a sign your brain is failing. It's a sign your brain is doing something very specific and very normal. Once you understand what's actually happening in those few seconds, it stops feeling like a glitch. And there are a few simple things that make it happen far less often. Let's stay in that moment for a second, because you know it better than any definition. You're at your desk and you decide you need scissors from the kitchen drawer. Crystal clear, you get up, you walk down the hall, you cross into the kitchen, and you're standing there holding the handle of a drawer you don't remember why you opened, or it's the word, the name of the actor, the title of that book. It's right there, on the tip of your tongue. And the harder you reach for it, the further it slides away. Then 20 minutes later, washing a cup, it arrives out of nowhere. If you're past your mid-30s, these moments probably feel like they're happening more often than they used to. And that's the part that's unsettling, not the forgetting itself, but the pattern. The quiet suspicion that this is the beginning of something. So let's name what it actually is. Because it has a name, it's been studied, and the explanation is far more reassuring than the fear. Researchers have a name for the room version of this, the doorway effect. And it's exactly what it sounds like. Studies at the University of Notre Dame found that the simple act of walking through a doorway makes you more likely to forget what you were doing, even more than walking the same distance in a single room. The doorway itself is the trigger, not your age, not your memory declining, a doorway. To understand why a piece of architecture can erase a thought, you have to look at how your brain organizes time. Your brain doesn't store your day as one long, continuous video. It chops it into scenes. Psychologists call them event boundaries. Finishing a task, changing rooms, starting a conversation. Each one is a cut to a new scene, and at every cut, your brain does a kind of mental housekeeping. It files away the scene that just ended and clears space for the new one. That's usually helpful. It's how you don't carry the clutter of one moment into the next. But here's the catch. A short-term intention, get the scissors, is fragile. It lives in what's called working memory, the brain's tiny mental whiteboard. And working memory holds only a handful of things at once for a very short time. When you cross that doorway, your brain treats it as a scene change and quietly wipes part of the whiteboard. The intention was tied to the room you just left, and the moment the context changes, it's much harder to pull back. Now, layer in one more thing. Holding and retrieving those fragile thoughts depends heavily on a single brain chemical called acetylcholine. Acetylcholine is the messenger your brain uses for attention, encoding, and recall. It's the difference between a thought being written down clearly and a thought being scribbled in fog. And from your late 30s onward, two things gradually shift. Your working memory carries a little less at once, and your acetylcholine signaling becomes a little less efficient. Nothing dramatic, nothing like disease, just enough that the fragile intention is now even easier to lose at the doorway. So the room blank moment isn't your memory breaking. It's a normal feature of how your brain segments time, meeting a chemistry that's running a few percent quieter than it did at 25. Once you understand the mechanism, the fixes are almost embarrassingly simple because they all do the same thing. They protect the fragile thought from the scene change. Say it out loud or picture it. Before you stand up, say scissors kitchen drawer once, or hold a vivid mental image of the scissors in your hand. Naming and visualizing, move the intention off the flimsy whiteboard and anchor it somewhere sturdier. Pause at the threshold. When you reach the doorway and feel the blank coming, don't fight it and don't walk back yet. Stand still for 2 seconds and recreate the moment you decided. The original context is the fastest way back to the thought. Carry a physical anchor. If you're going to get something, hold a related object, or literally point yourself at the task. A hand already reaching is a thought that's harder to lose. This is the big one, protect your sleep. Working memory and acetylcholine both run on rest. A single poor night measurably shrinks how much your mental whiteboard can hold the next day. Most people blame their memory when they should be blaming their sleep. Lower the background load. Every open tab, every unfinished worry, every notification, is occupying space on that whiteboard. The fewer things you're juggling, the more room there is for the thought you actually care about. Those 5 alone will noticeably cut down the room blank moments. But there's one more layer worth understanding the chemistry itself, because here's the part most people never connect. That messenger chemical, acetylcholine, is built from raw materials your brain has to get from your diet. The main building block is choline, and a highly absorbable form of it. Acetylcholine has been studied specifically for supporting attention and memory by helping the brain produce more acetylcholine and maintain healthy brain cell membranes. Then there's Bacopa monnieri, a herb used for centuries and now backed by clinical trials showing it can support memory recall and the speed at which the brain holds new information, though it works gradually, over weeks, not overnight. And phosphatidylserine, a fatty compound that keeps brain cell membranes flexible, so signals pass cleanly, levels of which tend to decline as we age. What's interesting is that the most carefully formulated cognitive support stacks tend to combine exactly these 3, choline, bacopa, and phosphatidylserine, because together they target the working memory and acetylcholine pathways. The doorway effect depends on I've put the specific formulation I looked into, the one built around these 3 ingredients at research doses, in the description below if you want to see what to actually look for. This kind of research, the science behind the small moments you live every day, is what Cognitive Insight Lab covers every week. If you want to keep up, subscribing takes 2 seconds, so the next time you walk into a room and freeze, remember what's really happening. You didn't fail. Your brain just hit a scene change and tidied up a little too fast. Name the thought before you move. Pause at the doorway. Protect your sleep and give your brain the raw materials it needs to keep that messenger running clearly. The blank moment will still happen. Sometimes it happens to all of us. But now, at least you know it's not a warning. It's just a doorway. I really hope this helped you make a little more sense of your own mind today. That's honestly the whole reason this channel exists. If it did, dropping a like helps more people find it, and subscribing means the next one finds you. Thanks for spending these few minutes here with me. I'll see you in the next one. This video is for educational purposes only and is not medical advice. Talk to your healthcare provider before changing your diet, supplements, or cognitive health routine.